Meghan Markle's appearance on MasterChef Australia certainly raised the stakes for the top 4 contestants, with one of them facing an awkward situation during the challenge. It is quite natural that anyone would get flustered in the presence of celebrities, especially if it's royalty. A similar thing happened when Meghan Markle walked through the doors of MasterChef Australia this weekend. She was met with surprised and equally thrilled faces. The coveted competition had selected its top 4 and was already at a critical stage, but the Duchess of Sussex's appearance certainly seemed to raise the stakes, as the home chefs tried their best to impress her with their dishes. As part of the immunity challenge, Markle had brought a bounty of vegetables and organic produce the contestants had to cook with. While the culinary enthusiast encouraged them to prepare something sentimental, the judge's brief was straight: cook something fit for a duchess. One of the contestants fighting for a semi-final spot was Casper Kenworthy. He had decided to cook barbecued octopus with Jerusalem artichoke puree and some fried Jerusalem artichokes. However, Kenworthy suffered an embarrassing situation for the first time in the kitchen, and Markle's presence made it all the more awkward for him. He was peeling ginger when he cut his finger. "I've just cut my finger," he said via the Daily Express. "It's the first time I've ever cut myself in this kitchen, and it's in front of Meghan." Kind of embarrassing. The 28-year-old didn't let that falter him, as he eventually prepared a beautiful dish. As Kenworthy approached the judge's table with his dish, he was asked whether he was feeling nervy. He accepted that he was, since the ticket to semifinals is on the line and a very high-caliber guest judge was present for the challenge. Markle commended his sweet statement before tasting the meal. "I think this is beautifully balanced. I love how silken the Jerusalem artichoke puree is. It's pitch perfect actually. And that crispiness that you have on the other version of the Jerusalem artichoke, it really is highlighting that as a featured ingredient. I love the heat, so the sauce is going in for more. And also I will say, I think the char on the octopus, it's really beautifully cooked, and it's really beautifully complemented by the other choices you made." Markle appreciated the dish. However, it was not only one royal's presence that graced MasterChef Australia that day. Prince Harry also joined in on the fun, albeit virtually. He video-called his wife, who was all praise for the contestants. Although Kenworth prepared one of the best dishes of the day, it was his fellow home chef, Petro Papathomas, who won the ticket to the semi-finals. The former was eventually eliminated in the next episode after placing 4th in the prestigious contest this season. There are moments on live television that no one plans for, no producer can script around, and no amount of preparation can prevent. And when Meghan Markle walked onto the set of MasterChef Australia, she triggered exactly one of those moments. Not through anything she cooked, not through anything she said, but simply through the effect her presence had on a grown man standing 5 feet away from her, holding a spatula, completely losing the plot. This is the story of what really happened that day. Why it matters more than most people realize, and what it quietly reveals about the extraordinary gravitational pull Meghan still carries, even thousands of miles from Windsor, even years after stepping back from royal duties, even in a kitchen that smells of reduction sauces and mild panic. To understand why this visit became such a talking point, you need to understand what MasterChef Australia actually is. Unlike its British counterpart, the Australian version has built itself into a genuine cultural institution, a primetime juggernaut that regularly draws millions of viewers and takes itself seriously enough to invite some of the most recognizable names on the planet through its kitchen doors. Celebrity guest appearances are a cornerstone of the format, and over the years the show has hosted everyone from Heston Blumenthal to Gordon Ramsay. These are not moments contestants take lightly. The contestants themselves are home cooks, passionate, skilled, deeply motivated people, but home cooks nonetheless. They train for these challenges, they know the format, they understand that celebrity appearances are part of the program. And yet sources familiar with the production have noted that no amount of preparation quite readies someone for the moment when a real-life former member of the British royal family walks through a door and looks directly at you. That is a different category of experience entirely. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, arrived on set in her capacity as a guest judge, a role that placed her in a position of genuine authority over people who were already under considerable competitive pressure. Reports from within the production suggest the atmosphere shifted the moment she appeared. This wasn't merely celebrity excitement. This was the presence of someone who had occupied one of the most scrutinized positions in the world, who had sat beside the Queen of England, who had appeared on the balcony at Buckingham Palace. Whatever one thinks about the choices Meghan and Harry made in stepping back from royal duties, the weight of that history doesn't simply disappear. It walks into the room with her, and for at least one contestant, it walked right into his nervous system and stayed there. The contestant at the center of this story, and palace insiders would probably find the word palace amusing in this context, but bear with me, was preparing his dish when Meghan approached his station to taste his food and engage with him directly. What followed was, by his own candid admission afterward, something he described as embarrassing. Not his cooking, not his technique. His composure. Reports suggest that the moment Meghan began speaking to him, asking him about his dish, showing the kind of warm and engaged interest she is well known for in these settings, the contestant simply froze. Not in a vague, slightly distracted way, in a profound, visible, publicly witnessed way. He admitted afterward that he became so overwhelmed by her presence that he forgot momentarily how to be a person who speaks in sentences. The words apparently left him. The dish was fine. The chef was not. What makes this so fascinating and so human is that it wasn't a failure of skill. It wasn't a failure of preparation. It was a failure of the nervous system in the face of something it simply hadn't been trained to handle, because there is no training for this. There is no module in culinary school called Interacting with Former Members of the British Royal Family Without Forgetting Your Own Name. Now, some people watching this story unfold might be tempted to laugh, and the contestant himself clearly had enough self-awareness to do exactly that. But there is something deeper happening here if you're willing to look at it. The reaction this man had was not really about Meghan Markle the individual. It was about what she represents, what she symbolizes, and the extraordinary power that Royal Association, even former Royal Association, continues to carry in the public imagination. And this is where the story gets genuinely interesting, because the turning point in all of this wasn't the freeze itself. It was what happened immediately afterward. According to accounts from people familiar with the filming, Meghan handled the moment with exactly the kind of warmth and graceful recovery that her supporters would point to as evidence of her emotional intelligence. She didn't make the contestant feel worse. She didn't lean into the awkwardness. She did the opposite. She found a way to ease him back into the conversation, to make him feel seen and not humiliated, and reportedly got a laugh out of him within moments. The contestant later spoke about the experience with genuine affection, describing Meghan as someone who made him feel comfortable even in an acutely uncomfortable moment. That pivot from freeze to laughter, from paralysis to connection, is the actual story here. And the fact that it happened on camera, in front of millions of Australian viewers, with the whole thing caught and discussed and replayed across social media, says something